been working on that.
Welcome to Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. As the season rises to the beginning of the year, we got a battle between the MAAC and the MEAC here this afternoon. It's a showdown between the St. Peter's Peacocks and the University of Maryland Eastern Shore Hawks. Once again, welcome to Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. My name is Cedric Granger, and we are ready for some softball on this wonderful afternoon in Maryland, 60 degrees, and a nice first pitch there. It's a called strike by Emily Gunther. Let's go over the lineups. St. Peter's batting first, wearing the white jerseys today with blue pinstripes. Olivia Christopher is batting first, while Jess Forte is batting second. Dakota Pitts is batting third, while the next pitch is a rise ball upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ty Turner is batting fourth. Ashley Murphy bats fifth. Steph Benslowitz bats sixth. Angelina Wagner bats seventh. Batting eighth is Taylor Montgomery, and batting ninth, Lauren Zerwinski for the 2-2 St. Peter's Peacocks. 1-1 is high on a drop curve there. 2 balls and 1 strike now to the second baseman, Olivia Christopher. For the Hawks today, clad in their maroon jerseys, black pants. We'll go over the fielders here in a second. 2-1 delivery. And that's a called strike on the outside edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Christopher. Got Perkins doing the catching today for UMES, while Monzo is at first base. Calvin is at second, while Abali is at shortstop. Here's the next pitch. That one's outside to run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Check that. Abali, is at shortstop. Hudson is at third base. Holt is in left field. Clark in center field. And Landis in right field for the Hawks. In their home opener, and looking for their second win of the season. In comes the payoff to Christopher. And that's high and away for ball 4. And Christopher's aboard with a walk. For St. Peter's, they have already played quite a few MEAC teams this year. One of those teams being the Norfolk State Spartans. And they played them 3 times and took 1 of those 3 games. Here's Jess Forte batting second. Righty stands in with 1 runner on and takes the first pitch outside. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. I want to say thank you for joining me this afternoon. We're looking at weather in the low 60s, high 50s. But there's also quite a wind gust. It's kind of whipping over from right to left from your vantage point. Next pitch is low and inside. That makes the count 2 balls and no strikes. For Gunther, she's making her 6th appearance in the circle today and her 5th start overall for the Hawks. Still the next pitch, once again low. So 3 balls and no strikes. Things looking good right now for the shortstop, Jess Forte. Senior utility player from Middlesex, New Jersey. Has also had some experience at other colleges, was at Seton Hall University before transferring over to New Jersey to play for St. Peter's. Next pitch is a rise ball high, so that's a 4-pitch walk. So back-to-back walks there for Emily Gunther, which she has had her struggles with that this year. 13 walks to 5 strikeouts going into this game. That's always the goal, though, especially early on in the season, is to work out some of the kinks and get on the same page here. And that'll be the challenge here for Emily Gunther. Things aren't going to get any easier now for UMES as in comes Dakota Pitts, the first baseman. She was a part of the all-rookie team in the conference back in 2022 and has had a great career. She has 3 straight seasons with 28 or more RBI. So we got runners on first and second. It's Christopher at second base, Forte at first. Both of them reached on walks. And in comes the righty, Dakota Pitts, working against the pitcher, Emily Gunther. Here's the offering. It's a first pitch strike. Much needed there after the conference in the circle for UMES. St. Peter's, they've had quite a few games that have been canceled due to weather, including a matchup between these two teams that was supposed to happen last week in New Jersey. And then they even tried to change it over to Maryland. Here's the next pitch. It's inside on a rise ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. But unfortunately, the weather was not cooperating in New Jersey and in Maryland as it was a snowstorm. Glad we're getting to play today. Next pitch is going to be lined over to the left side, and that's through for a base hit. Holt fields it, and she'll prevent the runner from having to go home. But nevertheless, that's the first base hit of the day for Dakota Pitts. And that loads the bases now for the Peacocks. So nobody out. Top of the first inning, no score, but St. Peter's looks to change that right here. And in comes the junior Ty Turner. Here's Gunther's first pitch. It's fastball low. 1 ball and no strikes to Turner. Back in 2023, she led the Peacocks with 41 RBI. She's looking to add on to that RBI total for the 2025 season here now as the next pitch sails outside. 2 balls, no strikes. For Turner this year, she has been incredible, batting .500 with 2 triples. And she's going to send one over to center field, but right into the glove of the center fielder there for UMES. That was Clark who puts it away. And due to Olivia Christopher kind of leaving early from third base, she's not able to get a sacrifice fly out of that. So that's an F8. 1 down in the inning now for Emily Gunther and the Hawks. For Maryland Eastern Shore, 1-7 on the season, but played some really tough competition, especially in the HBCU Invitational down south. Here's a first pitch to Murphy. She's going to ground that one over to the shortstop, Abilene. Tries to get it over to third base, but it falls out of Hudson's glove. 1 runner comes in to score, another runner right behind her. And that's going to be the first 2 runs of the day on the error for St. Peter's. Christopher comes in to score. Forte comes in to score. Murphy up to first on the error, and Pitts at second. So the Peacocks take an early lead now, 2-0 with 1 away in this top of the first inning. And this brings on Steph Benslowitz. Lowitz chops one right over to Gunther, throws over to third base to secure 1 out. So off that fielder's choice, it's now 2 away in the inning. So now Benslowitz is on at first, Murphy on at second after the fielder's choice. Pitts put out on a 1-5 play. And this sets things here for Angelina Wagner, trying to up the ante here. St. Peter's already up 2-0. And she'll fly one over towards center field, but that's put away by Clark, and that retires the side. But St. Peter's, they have a great start here in the top of the first inning. Christopher and Forte come in to score, and St. Peter's leads 2-0 as we take a short break here on YouTube. Made it to the bottom of the first inning here at Henry S. Parker Athletic Center, where the Peacocks lead 2-0 over the UMES Hawks. But here's an opportunity now for the Maroon and Gray to try to get a few runs back. And their lineup today is as followed. For the Hawks, it'll be J.C. Holt leading things off while Calvin Clark is batting second. Araceli Monzo will be batting third, while Kai Hudson's batting cleanup. Ella Falsetti batting fifth. Mackenzie Abilene bats sixth. Here's the first pitch. That's a chopper. It's going to be a quick play for the second baseman, Christopher, who throws it over to the first base Pitts, and that's a quick out. So a 4-3 out gets Holt out of there. And that's one away quickly for St. Peter's. Rest of the lineup, Emily Gunther batting seventh, Takaya Landis batting eighth, and Michaela Clark batting ninth for the Hawks. First pitch is a fastball strike to Clark Calvin. Going against the pitcher, Ava White for St. Peter's, 9 2/3 innings of work this season. She's making her third start of the early campaign, looking to go over 500 here today. Playing two as Clark Calvin sends one over to center field, but no problem for Montgomery making the catch above her head, and that's a quick 2 up, 2 down. So here comes Araceli Monzo. Making her first at-bat of the day. Lefty first baseman working against Abel White. With 2 away and a 2-0 lead for St. Peter's. First offering. It's a called ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. For UMES this season, a lot of traveling to this point. And that traveling won't stop either, as they will head down south again. And that'll be in Hattiesburg, Mississippi for their next trip. Next pitch fouled off. Yeah, Hawks start the year against Grambling, Prairie View A&M, Alabama A&M, and Claflin. Picking up their win against Claflin. But some good competition to help you be ready for what's ahead, not only in conference play, but with a couple of these non-conference home matchups like this one. Next offering, it's a rise ball high. And that's 2 balls and 1 strike. Maryland Eastern Shore actually coming off of a trip to South Carolina. Took on some really talented teams over there. Next swing, swing and a miss for strike 2. Took on Cleveland State, Valparaiso, Monmouth, and Presbyterian. Chance to get out of the inning here for White. 2-2. That ball's fouled off to stay alive. Good work there by Monzo. Monzo's originally from California, where she was the Agape League MVP as a senior. Here's the next offering. It's a blooper that does just fall in the dirt. Gets away from the pitcher, White, and Monzo is safe. So a base hit is the ruling there for Monzo, and that's the first hit of the day for the Hawks. 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. Maryland Eastern Shore looking to get one back here with a 2-out rally. This brings on Kai Hudson to the plate. First pitch to Hudson. It's a called ball. Sun's starting to shine a little bit more, but the wind also picking up as well, too. It's moving from right to left originally, but it kind of switching directions. There's a called strike on that next pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Monzo taking a decent lead off, it seems, immediately at the pitch. Hudson, she's a freshman who competed with the Magic Travel Softball Program. Next pitch is a rise ball outside. Count is 2-1. Maryland Eastern Shore looking for some offense here in this bottom of the first. Next pitch right by the knees there for Hudson. So good hitters count here. 3 balls and 1 strike. For Hudson this season, batting 143. Did have a base hit earlier this season, but still early, just her 8th at-bat of the year. Called strike there on 3-1, and that runs the count full. So 2 away in the inning here, and a runner aboard for UMES. Looking to avoid being held scoreless in this bottom of the 1st inning. And in comes the payoff. And that's chopped backwards. And they'll continue it 3-2. For umpires today, we got Carrie, Buddy, and Patrick. Carrie's going to be doing the balls and strikes, while Buddy and Patrick are out in the field. So we'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. And a competitive at-bat right now for Hudson, making Ava White work. Here's the payoff again. And that one launched over to the left side, but caught. Nice catch there by Murphy to bring that one down. And that retires the side with 1 runner left on the base paths. We played 1 here at the Henry S. Parker Athletic Center, and the St. Peter's Peacocks lead 2-0 here on YouTube. Away half of the 2nd inning here at the Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. And a 2-0 lead for St. Peter's, and they'll look to build up that lead in this frame. As the first pitch is a ball on a curveball there to Montgomery. We'll see Montgomery, Zerwinski, and Christopher due up in the inning for St. Peter's, the 8-9-1 in the order. The next one in the turf here. I can say in the dirt, but I think that'd be a bit of a misnomer. We have a turf infield, but a grass outfield. Counts 2 balls and no strikes to Taylor Montgomery. For St. Peter's, they are led by head coach Alyssa Ruiz, who graduated from St. Peter's and played in the softball program for St. Peter's, graduating in the class of 2017. Next pitch, rise ball high. 3 balls and no strikes to Montgomery. Ruiz previously served as the assistant coach for 7 seasons before getting her job as the head coach. The next pitch is a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Montgomery. Much needed strike there from Gunther. And next pitch can be a hit by pitch there. And that's going to send Montgomery over towards first. That puts a runner aboard, as that's already the 3rd free pass of the day drawn by the Peacocks. This brings on the catcher, Lauren Zerwinski. Take a rise ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Nobody out, one runner on here in the top of the second. For Zerwinski, she's originally from Tallinn, Connecticut. 3-time all-conference player and 2-time conference champion at Tallinn High School. 1-0 slapped on the ground, but foul. That'll be strike one, 1 ball and 1 strike. Playing 2 today, it'll be a doubleheader between these 2 squads. 2 teams that matched against each other last year. In those 2 games, St. Peter's took both, winning by 4 runs in each of those games. Next pitch is going to be popped up and foul. Just like that, Gunther's now up in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's always the good thing about having these types of fields where you're so close to the action. Gives you an opportunity to potentially catch some souvenirs. We do have a tent over me right now, so that'll prevent that probably, but who knows, maybe I'll try to unearth some of those old skills. Next pitch, takes a hop in the dirt, runner goes, throw down to second base, the tag is not in time. Swipe bag there for Taylor Montgomery. And the pitch was a ball, so now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Taylor Montgomery's now in scoring position for the Peacocks. And the 2-2 offering. Rise ball just misses high. And that runs the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the 3-2 delivery. That ball cranked over towards the left side and down for a base hit. And it works its way over the wall, and that's a ground rule double. So that's going to push Zerwinski into score. And that's actually going to push Montgomery to third, I believe, because if it's a ground rule double with a runner on second, that should put a runner on second and third. But we'll see if they call that. Let's see. Nope, it looks like they will award the run for it. So Zerwinski picks up an RBI ground rule double. Montgomery comes home to score, and it is now 3-0 Peacocks as we turn over the lineup card. There's a pop-up into foul territory, and no play there for the first baseman, Monzo. So 3-0 advantage for St. Peter's as they have had some big base hits in full counts. Next pitch is a called strike, and it's quickly 0-2 against Olivia Christopher. For Gunther, the pitcher, 5'7" junior from Maryland, Queen Anne's High School. Looking for her first K of the day. Here's the 0-2. Rung her up, called strike 3. She painted the outside of the zone and picks up her first K of the afternoon. That's 1 down now for Emily Gunther. Still a runner on second base now for St. Peter's. It's Lauren Zerwinski. Now coming up to the plate, it is Jess Forte as the wind speeds start to pick up here in the second inning. Next pitch, that one gets away from Perkins. Ball works all the way to the backstop. And that'll be a free base for Zerwinski on the wild pitch. Playing a doubleheader today. Henry S. Parker, and it's about as good of a weather as you can ask for in February for it. Next pitch is going to be a line drive right down Main Street. That's a base hit for St. Peter's. RBI single for Jess Forte. Drives in Lauren Zerwinski for the forefront of the day for St. Peter's. So good pieces of hitting here for St. Peter's early in this game. They've been rewarded with some runs. So here comes Dakota Pitts, and she's going to crank one over towards left center field. Holt pushing back, and it falls right in front of the wall. On her high horse and running all the way to home plate is Jess Forte. And make that an RBI double for Dakota Pitts. And it's now 5-0 in favor of St. Peter's. So Forte goes from first to third. Pitts has herself an RBI. She's 2 for 2 on the day already. And now here's Ty Turner. She'll take the first pitch on a changeup inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Turner a fly out to center field last time she was up. Gunther looking to bounce back here. Next pitch going to be chopped in the middle, and it gets past the shortstop, Abilene. Rounding third and coming home is Dakota Pitts, and she comes in to score and make it back-to-back RBIs for St. Peter's. Ty Turner finds herself on second now, pushes over to third, and she's safe at third. So it's a single for Ty Turner. She gets the second on the throw and then gets the third afterwards on that sequence. Still just 1 out in the inning, and we will have a called time here. As here comes assistant coach for Maryland Eastern Shore, Savannah Smith, who, according to Coach Robinson, was a huge addition for the team this year. She was amazing at Arizona Christian University, setting records in innings, wins, saves, appearances, starts, complete games, shutouts, batters faced, and no hitters. So really great presence for the pitching staff. And this will be the end of the day for Gunther. So when we come back, we'll have a new pitcher for the Maryland Eastern Shore Hawks, trailing 5-0 here in the top of the second. So new pitcher into the game for Maryland Eastern Shore. It's Cassidy O'Neill, who comes in for Emily Gunther after she started out with 1 1/3 innings of work. And now O'Neill, the freshman from Chesapeake, Virginia, faces Ashley Murphy and inherits a runner on third base. She'll get a swing and miss there on her next pitch, rise ball. Count is 1-1. Next offering, that one's taken high, 2 balls and 1 strike. For O'Neill, she's making her 9th appearance of the season. She's primarily come in as a reliever in a majority of her games. Next offering, that one's low. That should run the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. And it does. It's the best ERA on the team this season for UMES, a 4.79 ERA. 3-1 is going to be pop foul. And the count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And now Murphy up at the plate as Ty Turner 90 feet away from scoring at third base. Murphy already has an RBI. It was an RBI single back in the first inning. 3-2. And that's high and away. And that's a walk. So that's the first walk of the day for O'Neill and the 3rd overall walk drawn by St. Peter's. And now Murphy gives way to Benslowitz. For O'Neill, 19 innings of work this season. Has struck out 10, But walk's a bit of a problem as that one fired over to right center. That's a base hit. Ty Turner comes in to score. And Benlowitz has her first RBI of the day. Now St. Peter's seeing the baseball, or seeing the softball, I should say, very well. And they now lead 6-0. So an offensive onslaught early for the Peacocks, as they have bat around the order in this inning. First pitch is a rise ball that misses the zone to Angelina Wagner. Now Gunther off the books here. 1 1/3 innings of work, 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and 1 K. So now 2 balls and no strikes to Angelina Wagner. But a fly out last time she was up. She's got 2 runners on, and she'll tap that foul for strike 1. St. Peter's looking to move above 500 on the young season. Picked up wins against Norfolk State of the MEAC and then Mercyhurst of the NEC. Next one outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Mercyhurst making their move up to Division I this season. So this is their first softball year in Division I. Next pitch, called strike. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Wagner. Got 1 away here in the top of the second, 2 runners on. It is Murphy at second, Benlowitz at first. Next pitch, just misses low, and there's a walk. So that sends Murphy to third, Benlowitz to second, Wagner to first, and St. Peter's is bat around the order as we're back where we started. Taylor Montgomery batting for the second time this inning, and she'll pop one up into foul ground, and the play is made by the third baseman Hudson, camping underneath it for out number 2. So a much needed out there in a bases loaded situation. Good pitching by O'Neill. She was able to get just above the swing of that bat. So 2 away in the frame. And this brings on Lauren Zerwinski. Takes a look at a pitch high in the zone for ball 1. For Zerwinski, an RBI double her first time up. She'll swing through that pitch. A nice drop curve. And for Zerwinski to swing early. 6-0 advantage for the Peacocks. They scored 2 in the first and 4 now here in the second. But O'Neill looking to limit the damage here. 1-1. That's high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Seen a nice little pitch mix here from O'Neill early on. Seen the rise ball a little bit. We've seen the fastball. It's kind of like a drop curve. It looks good. Next pitch is going to be fouled back. And that's the issue. If you have your car parked here, you're going to have to hope you get a little lucky. Wind speed's really starting to pick up. I think our 10 actually was moving up a little bit off the grass. It comes 2-2. Fastball clocked to the right side or left side, and that's through for a base hit. 1 runner comes in to score. Another runner coming in. J.C. Holt throws to the third baseman Hudson. The tag is not in time, as that was Angelina Wagner working away over the third, so she's safe at the bag. Murphy came in to score. Benlowitz came in to score, and it's a 2 RBI double for Zerwinski. 8-0 lead now for St. Peter's. And then trying to up the ante here, it's Olivia Christopher. She'll put that in the air, and it's caught by Hudson right by the third base bag, and that retires the side. However, St. Peter's, they put up 6 runs, a bevy of runs for St. Peter's, as the Hawks will have work to do when we come back in the bottom of the second inning. So the Hawks are now back to work here in the bottom of the second inning. It is 9-0. Actually missed one run when I was doing the scoreboard here, but went back through it. And it was 9 runs for St. Peter's. First pitch is chopped by Falsetti right over to the pitcher, White, and she keeps it simple by throwing it over to first base for out number 1. So a 1-3 ground out retires Falsetti. And this will bring on Mackenzie Abilene. So that was 7 runs scored by St. Peter's, not 6, 7. And here's the first pitch from White. That one's low in the turf. Good discipline there by Abilene, and count as 1 ball and no strikes. For Abilene, he's a senior from Sherwood, Oregon. I love being able to see all the different states represented here. 1-0. That's fouled backwards towards me. Fence wasn't there. Maybe could have made a play. Abilene, a pretty productive season last year as a junior for the Hawks, recording 32 hits, 16 RBI, and 4 doubles. Also had 7 multi-hit games. So really providing a good sense of continuity here for the Hawks. Just looking to spark a little bit of offense here. Pitch from White. That's a called ball inside. Good movement late on that last pitch, but no dice there for White. Gave just 1 hit in that opening inning. That was to Monzo. Pitch to Abilene. She's going to chop that one over to the third baseman. Turner gathers, fires, and is in time over to first base. So that's 2 up, 2 down for Abel White. Remind you, he's having a pretty decent start to the year. She's now over 10 innings of work for the season. Abel White originally from Niagara Falls. First pitch is a fastball outside to new player into the game. That's actually the pitching change that resulted in the lineup change. So that's Cassidy O'Neill with their first plate appearance of the day. Next pitch fouled off. It's kind of the interesting thing. So when the pitcher is replacing them in the lineup would be Cassidy O'Neill. So if Emily Gunther, she started the game like she did today, the new pitcher gets to come in and swing the bat a little bit, which O'Neill has done throughout her career. One of her favorite softball memories was hitting a home run, and that was to win a game. And that's going to be a strikeout right there. Cassidy O'Neill is down on strikes. Abel White picks up her first K of the day, and we're headed to the top of the 3rd inning with the Peacocks up in front 9-0 here at Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. The Peacocks have grabbed the bats for the top of the 3rd inning, leading 9-0 over the UMES Hawks. First pitch is a ball, a fastball. It's Cassidy O'Neill, the pitcher, and she'll work against the 2-3-4 in the order, Jess Forte, Dakota Pitts, and Ty Turner, who are already up for the 3rd time today. as the Peacocks had one of their best offensive innings of the season, batting around the order in the last frame, as there's a rise ball strike on that next pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jess Forte. For Forte's day, you can say that hitting has been her forte. RBI single last time she was up, but she's going to put that one over towards the third baseman. It was dropped initially, but Hudson able to gather and fire to first base, and she showcases some good composure to secure out number 1. So a 5-3 ground out for Jess Forte. And now Hudson over at third base. She has been a part of the last 3 outs for UMES in some capacity, a pair of foul outs, and then also a ground out on a 5-3 play just a few moments ago. A little conversation there between the catcher Perkins and the third baseman Hudson. And we're back into the action here. Here's Pitts, looking to go 3 for 3 on the day. Already a single and a double to her name. First pitch is a strike to Pitts. Again, Pitts, one of the better bats for St. Peter's, very experienced. Last year, bat over 300 as she'll bloop one over towards shallow right center. And the ball's out of the glove of the second baseman, Calvin. And that's an E4. That's the thing with the winds a little bit today. It can make it a little trickier than it normally would be for infielders and outfielders. It can sometimes play games with you, and we've seen it play games with the Hawks a little bit early. So after the E4 in the second error of the day for the Maroon and Gray, here's Ty Turner. Takes a first pitch on the money for strike 1. Turner is 1 for 2 with a run scored. And she'll foul off a rise ball. Nice pitch selection there by O'Neal, because it looked like Turner was expecting maybe something lower in the zone. For Turner, she had a season where she bat .343. That was back in 2023. 43 ribbies on that year. She'll swing through another pitch, and that's strike 3. So first strikeout of the day for O'Neal, and the second strikeout of the day for the Hawks staff. And here comes a pinch hitter for St. Peter's. The pinch hitter is Carly Charles. So Charles comes in to pinch hit in this third inning. 9-0 lead for St. Peter's. This is their highest offensive output of the season. Their previous high of runs was 7 runs scored. So now the sophomore from Millville, Pennsylvania, steps into the box. Next pitch sails in for a strike. The count is 0-1. So looks like Coach Robinson will pass something off to one of his players, to Hudson. He'll resume play again. Got her 1 runner on, 1 out, or check that, 2 outs in the third inning. The next pitch, another rise ball is high. And counts even, 1 ball, 1 strike. For Charles, she played with the Stripes and Strikes softball travel team. There's another called strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sophomore played in 9 games last year. Here's the offering. Rugger up, called strike 3. Cassidy O'Neal starting to get on a little bit of a roll here. That's her second strikeout in a row. So that retires the side for UMES. They hold St. Peter's scoreless, but the Peacocks lead comfortably 9-0 as we head to the home half of the third. Takaya Landis gets us started here in the bottom of the third inning. Peacocks up 9-0 over the Hawks. It'll be the 8-9-1 in the order. Landis, Clark, and Holt. The first pitch is a ball from Ava White, who closed out the second inning with her first strikeout of the day. I'm going to try to match that here against Takaya Landis. Next pitch sails outside. 2 balls and no strikes. For the Hawks, they are led by second-year head coach Aaron Robinson, who's had a couple of different stops throughout his career at the college and high school level. There's the next pitch, a drop curve, nasty one for strike 1. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to Landis. Coach Robinson made stops at Notre Dame of Maryland University, and also coached at the high school ranks before taking a job here with UMES. Next pitch, wave and a miss. That's strike 3, and that's the second strikeout of the day for Ava White, who's really settling in. And with Coach Robinson, he talked a lot about the culture of the team, and I got to ask him that in the season preview as Michaela Clark comes up to the plate here. And he talked about it is a culture of accountability and ownership. First pitch fouled off. It kind of hit the bottom part of the bat there. And the count is 0-1 to Clark. So we'll see how those values continue to develop in this team as the season goes on. Team that has really challenged themselves with this non-conference schedule. Not only with the SWAC opponents that they face. There's a blooper over towards second base, and that's over the second baseman's head and into right center. Going for 2 now is Clark. Slides into the second base bag, and she's safe. First double of the day for the Hawks. And they've got a runner in scoring position here in the third. Some nice dynamic hitting there for Maryland Eastern Shore, and they get it from the freshman from Monroe, Louisiana. So now a big opportunity for the Hawks. It's one of their more talented hitters is up at the plate with a runner in scoring position and just 1 away in the top of the, check that bottom of the third. First pitch from White, bunt shown, but fouled. We'll see if Holt tries to do that again. It's a player that is known for her speed. She said that growing up in the South, you have to have something that makes you stand out. And she said, the thing that makes me stand out is my speed. She'll swing the bat here, trying for a slap hit. It was low and away. She held back. So the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Hawks look to get on the board here. One to Holt. That ball rolled on the ground. It's through the second baseman, Christopher's legs. It's into the outfield. The throw to the plate is not in time. And no throw over towards second. RBI double for J.C. Holt, or I'll say RBI single, I should say. And Michaela Clark comes in to score for the first run of the day for the Hawks. There's some momentum there for UMES. And sometimes all that it takes is just 1 base hit to get things going. And then things could start to snowball potentially. So Holt, RBI single, drove in Clark on that play. And Holt, on the throw, made it over to second base. So it's a runner in scoring position for Clark Calvin. Really good velocity off of the bat on that last swing. First pitch is a called strike. Count is 0-1 to Clark Calvin, who had a fly out last time she was up. But it seemed like Christopher, she was playing really close. The infield was really pinched in for the Peacocks. But the ball was hit with so much speed, she couldn't field it. Runner goes, throw down to third base. The tag is in time. What a snipe there from Zerwinski as Holt is caught on the base pass. It's not an easy task either. If you are St. Peter's, that is a 2-5 put out on the stolen base, or on the caught stealing, I should say. J.C. Holt led the conference in stolen bases, so not an easy person to catch. So now bases clear, 2 away. And there's a foul ball. That one's going to go into foul territory. It's going to take good communication, and it is put away eventually by the shortstop Forte, and that retires the side. However, the Hawks get on the board here in the bottom of the third inning. An RBI single by J.C. Holt driving in Michaela Clark, as the Hawks still have some work to do, trailing 9-1 as we head to the top of the fourth at Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. Made it to the fourth inning here at Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. 9-1 lead for St. Peter's, and they're back to work looking for double-digit runs for the first time this season. Be Ben Lowitz, Wagner, and Montgomery, the three you'll see in this inning. 6, 7, 8 in the order for St. Peter's. Next pitch, it's a off-speed pitch that's in the foul ground, but not able to be snagged by Manzo. Manzo almost was able to get that one. Ran with all she got, but just out of her reach. However, for Cassidy O'Neal, she's up in the count 0-2, and she's really been filling up the zone after coming in for Emily Gunther in the second inning. Gave up a few hits. There's one that could be a hit. That one drilled to right center, and that's a base hit. Ball bounces up against the wall, and jogging into second base with a double is Ben Lowitz. So the base hits really starting to rack up here for St. Peter's. That is their 9th base hit of the afternoon. Reminder that we will have a doubleheader here today. So this is just game one. These teams will play again about 30 minutes or so after the conclusion of game one, and that'll be streamed, of course, on YouTube. First pitch is a rise ball high and away to Angelina Wagner. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Seen St. Peter's do a great job of hitting gap to gap. I'm sure their coaching staff, led by Coach Alyssa Ruiz, she'll be proud of that effort. Ruiz, a lifelong St. Peter's Peacock. She played there in college, was a star player for them, and she came right out of the dugout to coach. There's a ball rolled on the ground to Hudson at third base. She'll try to get it over to first base, and that's out of the glove of the first baseman, Monzo. In comes Ben Lowitz to score, and off of the error, the St. Peter's Peacocks have their 10th run of the day. So that's going to be the 3rd error of the afternoon for the Hawks. And this brings on Taylor Montgomery, who takes ball 1. That's going to be an unearned run for O'Neal more than likely. We'll see how the inning progresses, but still nobody out in the top of the 4th inning. Bunt shown. Throw down to first base, tag not in time. Count is 2 balls and no strikes. For Montgomery, she has a run scored today. She reached base on a hit by pitch before eventually being driven in by one of her teammates, by Zorwinski. And there's a called strike, a much needed one there for O'Neal. St. Peter's also have some cool assistant coaches. I saw that they have Ralph Sopa, who's been a long-time coach and kind of helps them with their training and everything. As there's a line drive right up the middle. That's a base hit. So Wagner moves over to second. Montgomery has herself her first base hit of the day. And that's now double-digit hits for St. Peter's. So nobody out here in the top of the 4th. Runners on first and second. Here comes a player that's had one heck of a day. Lauren Zerwinski, 3 ribbies on the day, and she'll take strike 1. I've heard of double-doubles in basketball, but this is a double-double in softball. She had a double in the second, and then also a double in the second because they bat around the order. Next offering. Nice pitch there. That was a drop curveball that time, and that looked good from Cassidy O'Neill. Cassidy O'Neill looking to get her pitch there, conversing there with Perkins, and Zerwinski calls time. Next pitch, rise ball high. I believe the count's 3 balls, 1 strike. I'll lose count every once in a while here. We don't have a scoreboard set up, so I'm trying to keep that going in my head here. I believe it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Next delivery. Actually, it was 2 strikes. There's another strikeout for Cassidy O'Neill. That is the 3rd strikeout of the day. And she's been able to fill up the zone pretty well today, despite the score. So Zerwinski goes down looking. And that turns over the lineup card back to the top of the order with Olivia Christopher. So back over to Christopher, who bat 148 last season in 26 games played. His runners on first and second, and she'll send one up the middle, and that's through into the outfield for a base hit. Here comes Wagner. She's got the green light, the play at the plate, and she ran into the catcher, and she was safe at the plate as she did hit the plate. So all runners are safe. So that was Wagner who came in to score as her foot did hit the plate. And that pushes Montgomery to third. Christopher picks up an RBI single. She's over at second base after the throw, and Montgomery's over at third. Next pitch. A little bit higher in the zone, but outside for a ball. So the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Jess Forte. 1 for 2 on her afternoon and 2 runs scored, and she'll crack that one, but foul. 1-1 now to Forte. For Jess this season, she's batting 154 in 13 at-bats. 2 base hits, but now make it 3 base hits after her one that she had earlier today. So it's now 11-1 as the next pitch is a rise ball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. I'll do my best here, keeping the score going. I am running this scoreboard manually here. It's 11-1. And there's one that's lined over to left center. That's a base hit. Holt gloves it. Tries to throw with everything she got, but it won't matter. 2 runs come in to score. Forte with a 2 RBI double. That brings in Montgomery. That brings in Christopher. And it's been nothing short of emphatic today for St. Peter's. So Forte's got herself a single and a double. And in terms of base hits today, 12 base hits now for St. Peter's. They have been firing at will. And we'll have a pitching change now for UMES. When we come back, we'll introduce the new pitcher here on YouTube. So new pitcher into the game for Maryland Eastern Shore. Trailing 13-1 against St. Peter's. First pitch is a strike on a drop curve ball by the new pitcher, Paris Richards. Richards, a sophomore from Oregon City, Oregon. Makes an appearance on the mat, or on the circle here. And she deals the next pitch. That one flown out to the left side, but foul. The count is 0-2 to Dakota Pitts. So O'Neill's day is done. 1 2/3 innings of work, 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 Ks. Right now, 7 runs. However, still on the books for the runner currently at second, who's Jess Forte. Next pitch low. A nice stop there by Perkins. And prevented Forte from making her way to third. So nice work by her. For Richards, she transferred over from St. Michael's, where she led the Purple Knights in ERA, whip, and fielding percentage. There's a line drive to left field, and that's a fair ball. Rolling around third is Jess Forte to come in to score. And Dakota Pitts has herself an RBI double to make it 14-1 St. Peter's. So now Pitts has 2 RBI on the day. She's got 2 doubles, a single, and has reached base 4 times. And here's Ty Turner. Showed bunt at a fastball low. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. The ball took a hop in the turf before getting there. For Turner, 1 run scored today, a single. 1 for 3 overall on her afternoon. Reminder, these 2 teams will play both, as there's a ball that hits the batter. That ended up being actually fortunate for UMES that it did. Turner is aboard at first, despite her getting the first base bag for free. If it was a wild pitch, that would have allowed Pitts to make her way to third. But instead, Pitts has to stay at second after the hit by pitch. And now St. Peter's batting around the order again. Here's the left fielder, Ashley Murphy. She's been up once today. And that was in the first. I should just check that. She's been up twice today. Singled in the first, and then a walk in the second, and then was pinch hit for by Carly Charles moments ago. This pitch is a called strike. Pitch looked good on the drop curve. Runners on first and second for St. Peter's. UMES looking for that second out of the inning. Next pitch is a rise ball that skies upstairs. Maryland Eastern Shore, good thing about doubleheaders is gives you a good chance for a reset as well after the game. Let's get another pitch high in the zone. That's now 3 balls in the count. I believe it's 3-1. Yep, 3 balls and 1 strike now to Ashley Murphy, who's 1 for 2 on the day with a run scored and a walk. Here's the offering. She'll swing and fire that one, and that's a fair ball. Hugs that left field line, and J.C. Holt looks to track it down. Oh, no, they call it foul. Pretty late call for foul. The Hawks will take it. So that runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Ashley Murphy. Richards now looking for first strikeout of the day. 3-2. Ball on the ground, but foul yet again. Just a tad early right now on the swings. And Murphy will try to time it up here. And as I was saying, the good thing about these doubleheaders is no matter what the score is in game 1, you can get a reset in game 2. 3-2 pitch. That one's low. And that loads the bases for St. Peter's. So for the second time today, St. Peter's bats around the order here in this top of the 4th inning. And we start this inning, or we're back at where we started in this inning, I should say, as Steph Benlowitz is back. As Lowitz had a double last time she was up and ultimately scored on an error. She took a strike for the first pitch. Now is going to tap that one over to the second baseman, Calvin. Goes over to first base, secures one out. However, that is an RBI for Benzlowitz on the ground out, and that's going to make it 15-1. So Pitts came in to score on that play. Turner to third, and Murphy to second. So 15-1, St. Peter's. And a first pitch strike to Angelina Wagner. But to that effect, we saw it on the counterparts for Hawk softball. Hawk baseball had a doubleheader against Towson. They lost the first game 0-10 in run rule fashion, and then won the second game. There's a ball delivered over to left center, and that finds tons of green grass out there in the outfield. One runner comes in to score, another runner right behind her. And it's a 2 RBI double for Angelina Wagner. She's got her first 2 ribbies of the day. And that drives in Turner and Murphy to make it 17-1. So here comes Taylor Montgomery, 2 away in the inning, and a runner at second base. There's a ball that's low in the dirt, throw down to third, not in time there. And that's... So Wagner advances to third on a wild pitch. An offensive performance to remember for St. Peter's. Pitch is a changeup, that's low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Montgomery, the center fielder. Montgomery is from Long Valley, New Jersey, as there's a called strike, 2 balls and 1 strike. And back in high school, she was a first-team All-Conference and a Gold Glove Award winner at the high school level. So some serious recognition, and earned herself an opportunity to play, as there's a wild pitch. Goes over the head of the catcher, Perkins. And Wagner comes in to score on the wild pitch. So bases are clear now. And the count is 3 balls and 1 strike to Montgomery. Next offering in. That's high for a walk. St. Peter's going on a heck of a 2-out rally now, as the Hawks try to scratch that final out of the frame. Drop curveball is a called strike to Lauren Zerwinski. So 9 runs plated in this inning. Or check that, probably not 9. I'll recount that here. There's a chopper that's foul. Yep, it is 9 runs. So make sure to adjust that on my scorecard. 18-1. There we go. Pitches Zerwinski. That's taken high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Check that, 1 ball and 2 strikes, I should say. For St. Peter's, they finished last in the conference last year. They have the potential to move up this year in a new look league. Runner caught in between. The throw down to second. The tag is not in time. That was Montgomery. He was kind of hung up in between first and second. Perkins made the throw. Montgomery beat it out. There's a swipe back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A chance to get out of the frame here for Richards. Pitch is low. And Zerwinski doesn't take the cheese on the low pitch there. Runs the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. I like the uniform matchup here. You got the nice maroon for the Hawks. White and blue, kind of pinstripes, looking like the Yankees a bit for St. Peter's. His curveball misses high, and that's another walk. For St. Peter's, that is their 7th walk that they have drawn today. So it puts runners on first and second. And we turn over the lineup card to Olivia Christopher. She'll swing and foul that one over to the right side. And rolls harmlessly into foul territory, 0-1. But for the Peacocks, the conference is really changing. They have some new teams that have moved into the MAAC. But right now, still the team that's considered the top dog is Marist. They won the conference last year with a 17-6 record in the Metro. 0-1 is high for ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike to Christopher. But last year, St. Peter's was at the bottom of the standings, but they can play like this. They're going to have a chance to make the conference tournament, potentially. Next offering. Slow on a changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike. As for UMES, finished 7th in the MEAC, finishing just ahead of Norfolk State and just behind Delaware State. Kind of actually more like tied for 6th with Delaware State. Both teams finished with the same record in conference. Be an interesting conference slate. It's going to be getting started about 20 days because they have their home opener against Coppin State, or check that conference opener against Coppin. There's one blasted over to the right side. That's a base hit. Right fielder Landis gloves it. Runner comes in to score. And the carousel continues here for St. Peter's. That's the RBI single by Olivia Christopher. Her 2nd RBI of the day. And that scores Montgomery. So Zerwinski over to third base. And here's Jess Forte with 2 outs and runners on the corners. Runner goes on the first pitch, a pump fake. Good decision, in my opinion, by Perkins there. You'd much rather give up a run at second base than give up a run at home plate. Count is 1 ball and no strikes here to Jess Forte. It's a 19-1 ball game. We'll adjust the scoreboard here soon. Do it right now, actually. 19-1. Top of the 4th inning. Peacocks looking for their 3rd straight win over UMES. Beat them twice last season. Here's Richards' pitch. 1-1. That one's low for ball 2. Kind of seen that. There's almost a fastball that kind of goes low where it almost rolls on the ground with a lot of speed. You could potentially catch a batter. Next pitch. Once again, a little low in the turf. And that's ball 3. Inning that has really gone long here for UMES. And this will send out Coach Robinson to have a talk here with Paris Richards. Back in high school, Richards was the team captain of her high school team, Lake Oswego High School. She also spent 1 year at Lakota East High School in Ohio before moving over to Oregon. Familiar with that school? That's in the Cincinnati area. And it's not every day someone can say this, but for Richards, in her case, she was a captain in multiple different states throughout her high school career, which is really cool. 3-year captain in Oregon with Lake Oswego, and then 1-year captain at Lakota East. And she was a captain as a freshman, which is pretty incredible. She really enjoys softball because it allows her to honor the hustle and dedication of her younger self, who put in the work and never backed down and stayed with it all throughout her life. Now in a situation where it's about as mentally tough as it gets, she's going to try to show some fortitude. Ground ball to the shortstop. Abilene makes the play, and that retires the side, but not before St. Peter's could tack on 10 runs in the frame. They lead 19-1 as we head to the home half of the 4th here at Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. Home half of the fourth inning. And the Hawks look to get some runs scratched on the board, but it's easier said than done against Abel White today. Delivers a first pitch fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. It'll be the 3, 4, 5 in the order. Monzo, Hudson, and Falsetti. The 3 you'll see for Maryland Eastern Shore, who will have another opportunity for redemption after this game, potentially. With the doubleheader, that's always the great thing about it. And when I talk with a lot of baseball players, a lot of softball players, a lot of athletes in general, but primarily with the baseball and softball players, is with so many games that you have throughout the season, if there's a bad day or there's a bad game that you might want to forget, don't have to worry about it. You got another game coming up within 24 hours or within a couple of days. Or in the case of the Hawks, another game coming up within 30 minutes. Monzo, a base hit earlier today, one of 3 base hits today for the Hawks, who did get some offense going in that last frame. She does a good job staying off that pitch. Now 2 strikes against Monzo, trying to stay alive here. I believe it's 2-2. Next offering. And that's fouled backwards to keep the count the same. In our preview with Coach Robinson, he really discussed the importance of making the most of your 4 years here at UMES. That's going to be the goal for all of the players here. Next pitch, wave and a miss. That's strike 3. And the 3rd strikeout of the day for Abel White. For White today, he's had a great game, just limiting the damage, has had all the run support she could want. And she'll now face Kai Hudson. Back in high school at Niagara Falls, White was the Athlete of the Week for Channel 7, which is the local news station in that area. Back in her junior year in high school. There's strike 1. And Ava, when asked about why she picked St. Peter's to choose that as her school, she said, it just felt like home to me. There's a ball that's slapped over towards the second baseman. Christopher gloves it and makes the steady throw over to first base for out number 2. In the bottom of the 4th inning, 2 away. And St. Peter's up by quite a few runs. This brings on Ella Falsetti, designated player today. Looking to get some offense going for the Hawks. They had a nice little burst in the 3rd. There's a first pitch on the money for a strike. Some good speed on that one by White. Dynamic play by Clark, who had a double, and then J.C. Holt followed it up with a nice RBI single. She took advantage of when the infield was playing in. She hit the ball so hard it blew past them. Next pitch is a fastball that misses outside. Counts 1-1. For the Hawks coming up after this matchup against the St. Peter's Peacocks, there's another called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Falsetti. They'll take on Towson on March 4th before going over to Mississippi, where they'll take on the Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi twice, and then the Bison of North Dakota State multiple times. There's a chopper on the ground to Forte at shortstop. Long throw, but it is on the money for out number 3, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Abel White. We're headed to the top of the 5th inning, where St. Peter's looks to add some extra runs, and the Hawks will look to try to rally as we come back here on YouTube. St. Peter's back to work here in the top of the 5th inning. It'll be the 3-4-5 in the order as the first pitch is fouled off. Dakota Pitts, Ty Turner, and Ashley Murphy all due up in the frame for the team in pinstripes. Game 1 of 2 in this doubleheader. It's been a game to remember for St. Peter's. They achieve season highs in hits and runs. Next pitch is a curveball that's fouled off. And the count is 0-2 to Pitts. Already a great day for Dakota. The senior has 2 doubles today and a single and has reached base all 4 times. She'll ground that one foul, and the count remains the same, 0-2. Last year, the Peacocks finished 16-34 overall. They defeated UMES 5-1 and 11-7 last season. Of course, led by Alyssa Ruiz. It's in her 8th overall year with the program as a coach. If you count her college years, you add an extra 4 to that. Next pitch by Richards, tapped on the ground to the shortstop, Abilene. Makes a long throw, a nice stretch by the first baseman, Monzo. And that's 1 up, 1 down for Richards. I don't know if you heard that there, but our external athletic director, external communications director, Nick Novi, just said Monzo is Spanish for stretch. Kind of perfect. Some names are just fitting. Of course, got a very lively press box here in this tent. I want to say thank you all for joining me, too, on this broadcast here. Hour and 27 minutes strong. I appreciate you spending your Tuesday afternoon with me. Ty Turner up at the plate. And a nice strike there on a changeup. There definitely has been stints of good pitching for UMES. We take a look at that 3rd inning by Cassidy O'Neill, and then Richards having a great inning there. Is that a chopper right back to the pitcher. Puts it away for out number 2 by throwing it over to first base. And some good energy right there from her teammates. A whole infield coming together as the spirit's still high for UMES. And going back to what Coach Robinson said in the pre-season interview. Accountability and ownership, you know what the score is, but you can be able to control your attitude. So there's a foul ball by Ashley Murphy for strike 1. Again, the sun just rising on this season. But for the Hawks, already in Game 9, they'll have 10 games played by the end of the day. Which you'll take that if you're a team that's a little bit closer to the north than you are to the south. Next pitch is a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Reminder, with the score being 19-1, this game will come to a close in the bottom of the 5th inning unless the Hawks can get within 8 runs of St. Peter's. So right now, St. Peter's just can try to pad to the lead if they can, but up pretty safely right now, 19-1. This pitch is a wave and a miss for strike 2. And here's an opportunity here for Richards. Looking for her first K of the day. Pitch from Richards. That one takes a hop in the turf. It's always natural. I know I always want to say hop in the dirt, but got to get used to calling games with a turf field here. I will say it does create more even bounces on average when you have a turf infield. However, if it ever rains on a turf infield, the ball will be more like a puck on an ice rink than a baseball on a field. And there it is, a breaking ball for strike 3, and the first strikeout of the day for Paris Richards. So the Hawks finishing strong defensively there in that 5th inning, a 1-2-3 frame. And now UMES, they need to get within 8 to keep the game alive. If not, we'll be moving on to Game 2 of the doubleheader here on YouTube. Here we go, bottom of the 5th inning. And there's a quick welcome to the game there for you as Abilene rolls that on the ground to the shortstop, Forte. And that's a quick 1 up, 1 down. It's now 5 straight retired for Abel White, who's looking for a complete game. For White, this would be her 2nd complete game if she can finish the job. So for the first time today, we have Paris Richards to bat. Of course, batting in the pitcher slot in the lineup. So we've seen 3 different players, which I got 2 players hit. It was Gunther originally in the lineup in that position. Then she was out of the game, and then O'Neal got that first plate appearance for her. And then Richards is now in here with 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. Wave and a miss on a nice rise ball that time by White. So nasty how those pitches can come, where it starts out nice and low, just rises up on you. It makes it very difficult for a batter. Pitch from White to Richards. That is sailed foul. That ball is going way back there. It's almost so foul that it was fair in the baseball ballpark, which is pretty close to us. Maryland Eastern Shore baseball getting ready to begin tomorrow. So they have their home opener against Mount St. Mary's. Here's the pitch. That one's outside to keep the game alive as the Hawks are down to their 2nd to last out here. This will be a doubleheader, though. Right now on pace to get them at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock like originally scheduled. He's pitched some good speed on that one, but outside. With 2 strikes, here's the pitch. That's inside. A little off speed that time on the changeup. And the count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hawks maybe looking for their first walk of the day. White has done a good job to limit those. Here's the next offering. Until now, as there's the first walk of the day. So the Hawks get a base runner aboard. This is a good time right now for UMES to try to generate some momentum. You still have a whole nother game ahead of you, no matter what the score is in this first game. And at the end of the day, it'll just count as 1 loss on the scoreboard, or on your record, I should say. You don't want it to turn to 2. Runner goes, it's a bunt. Bunt is fair, throw down to first base. It's out of the glove of the first baseman, Pitts. Richards works her way to 3rd, and everybody's safe after the bunt by Landis. So now the Hawks are threatening here in the 5th inning. That's what you're looking for right there if you're UMES. You get some offense going, and you can keep that momentum into the next game. Give yourself a chance to split up the series here. So we're going to have a pinch hitter coming in. So it's going to be a pinch hitter. That's going to be Ojeda coming in. So Ojeda is the pinch hitter, or pinch runner, I should say. Bunt shown on the first pitch. That's ball 1 as we have Michaela Clark. In the dugout, got her teammates singing Return of the Mac. Kind of works for Michaela Clark. Good encouragement right here in the bottom of the 5th. Bunt shown, but it's fouled backwards for strike 1. And again, you can see that softball up close and personal here on our wonderful GoPro camera. Not a sponsor, but could be. Counts even, 1 ball and 1 strike to Clark, who had the biggest moment of the day, or at least the biggest extra base moment of the day, as she had the lone double in the game for UMES. That one skied way up into the air. This one's in foul ground and playable as it's caught by Pitts, the first baseman. And now the throw over to first base, and that is in time. That is an out, and that is your ball game. So a double play ends the day for the St. Peter's Peacocks. It was a foul out to the first base side and then a throw over to first base since Landis was off of the bag. And that is how we end this one. St. Peter's, an offensive day to remember. 19 runs scored as they win this one 19-1 in the first game of our doubleheader. The good news for the Hawks, though, despite the loss, they get a chance to try to get some momentum back in Game 2 of our doubleheader coming up on YouTube. But thank you so much for joining me. For everybody here in the press box, my name is Cedric Granger. Wish you a goodbye from Henry S. Parker Athletic Center, but not for long, because we have more softball coming to you in about 30 minutes.